I got 7 o'clock, let's go.
Let's call this meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you all. Could I get a motion to approve the agenda, please?
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Do we have any resident comments and or questions? Bueller? Let's move on. No reports, no public hearings. Could I please get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Nash, 8.1, floodplain mapping.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. If you recall from a meeting that you had earlier this year, the city did receive the proposed new flood insurance rate maps and the flood insurance study and the notice of the 90-day appeal period. And that appeal period will ends later this week. So to recap a little of what occurred before, the proposed maps are to replace the existing flood insurance rate maps that were prepared in the 1970s for the city. And the new mapping study was based on better data than they obviously had in the 1970s when the original maps were created. The impacts on individual properties vary. Once we did our review of those impacts, we did determine that the vast majority of properties in the city of Carver are in a better position relative to flood insurance with the new proposed maps than they are with the old. There are a couple properties that are now in the 100-year floodplain that weren't before, but there's also many more properties that are out of the floodplain, and the base flood elevation that was determined for the city has changed in a way that's better for the rating for the flood insurance for everybody who has to purchase that. We did have an open house on February 14th, and we also sent out information on the city's webpage and through a direct mailer to impacted property owners. We had a nice turnout at the open house, as well as numerous other residents who reached out to myself or Mr. Pasulka directly. And I think we were able to answer everybody's questions, and there were 2 people that we were even able to help provide with letters to help them get out of their existing flood insurance who were paying for it and probably didn't need to be at this point in time. The appeals can only be made based on technical and scientific evidence, and we did determine in looking through this that we didn't see anything that was worthy of an appeal. There's a comment letter in your packet that we're suggesting that the city send instead, notifying them that we are not recommending an appeal, but that there are a couple references to Lime Street that need to change on the maps just to bring them a little more current. Happy to answer any questions that you have.
Does anyone have any questions for Cindy on the floodplain mapping?
I do. Were we able to help out those homeowners on Carver Creek Circle, or are they technically still going to be considered in?
So most of their properties are better. Under the current maps, the 1970s maps, a lot of their homes show as actually being in the floodplain, even though they're not. They're high enough in elevation that they're not going to flood. The new maps, some of them still show the backyards as being in the floodplain, and there's nothing we can really do to change that because the backyard does meet that elevation requirement. However, we were able to give letters to one property owner that's there that was paying flood insurance, so we're hoping that they will be able to cancel their existing policy. And anybody who, once these new maps go into effect, if they receive letters from their mortgage companies saying that they need flood insurance, we have told them to reach back out to myself or Mark, and we will help them get the information they need to hopefully not have to pay for that.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion to authorize staff to submit the comment letter to FEMA.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Boyum, Ironwood Park. Thank you, Ms. Nash, by the way. Mr. Boyum,
Thank you.
8.2 Ironwood Park Field Lighting.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Bids were opened on the Ironwood Park Field Lighting Project on March 9th. There were 5 contractors that submitted bids that ranged from $223,000 to $282,156. The low bidder on the project was Lake Town Electric for $223,000. That contractor is the one that's currently working on other electrical work out at the school site.
So they're already there.
Correct. The bid, and that's, it seemed to be reflected in their bid pricing, and it compares to the engineer's estimate of $275,000. As talked about when the council was looking at proceeding with this project, there would need to be an interfund loan to be used for cash flow until the project, or until Park Dedication Fund is resupplied with some of the other funds that come into that category, and we are anticipating that to be refunded by the end of 2017. So at this time, we can answer any questions. Otherwise, the council can have a motion related to this. And one other thing, and I know Nick is working on items for reports, but the schedule of the project is that it would need to be substantially completed by September 1st of this year.
All right. Does anyone have any questions?
I'd just like to make a comment that Parks Commission was happy that we're moving forward with the lights. They thought that the interfund loan, is that going to be from one of the, like, sewer or something?
Sewer or something?
Potentially, we haven't researched what funds we would take it out of.
Okay.
And based upon the time, excuse me, the timing of the pay requests, we might not need to do interfund loan. So we're gonna kind of tread water until we get a schedule from the contractor.
For the Park Dead?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to award the Ironwood Field Lighting Project to Lake Town Electric in the amount, or not to exceed $223,000.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for your work on that, Daniel. Thank you for being high. Let's also move on to new business. Well, not high. You're not. I mean, not like you're high. Thank you for your bid, your estimate being high. All right. 9.1, Mr. Merrick, Suburban Rate Authority.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
That was kind of awkward.
In your packet is information regarding the Suburban Rate Authority, which is a 32-city organization that's working on matters affecting gas, electric, telephone services, and other rates charged to municipalities and their residents and businesses. In your packet, you can see 2 examples, one related to participation in the League of Cities for small cell wireless. There's a kind of a pending issue related to how small cell wireless uses city right-of-ways. There's also an example I provided in the cover memo related to working with XL on LED street lighting. In your packet, there's a more comprehensive history of their accomplishments, but they effectively serve as basically a lobbying organization on the behalf of cities related to utilities. And so in your packet, there's a resolution that would approve the authorization of a cooperative agreement with this organization, along with their meeting schedule. So for your consideration is approval of that resolution, and then if you adopted that resolution, we'd need an appointment of a city council member or the mayor to their board to act as a delegate for their meetings.
All right, does anyone have any questions at all? All right, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 109-17, authorizing the city's execution of a cooperative agreement with the Suburban Rate Authority.
I'll second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Who wants to be the delegate?
No, thank you.
I'm on about 12.
I can do it.
That sounds good.
Okay.
I would make a motion that we appoint Councilmember Mock as a delegate to the Suburban Rate Authority.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Christie. 9.2, Carver Square Final Plat. Mrs. Nash.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The Lenzen Group has
Nay. Oh, sorry, Dave's here. Sorry.
The Lenzen Group has applied for their final plat for the Carver Square project. Again, this is 3 additional lots being platted out of the outlot that was remaining after Carver Dental was platted last year. And at a previous meeting, you already approved the site plan for the daycare to be located on Lot 2 of this plat. There's a resolution in your packets for consideration, and Mr. Picorni is here to answer any questions.
All right, we have it in our packet. We have it on our screen. I'm assuming that the Planning Commission has been through this?
The Planning Commission reviewed it at their meeting last week and recommended approval
Unanimously, or was there any issues?
unanimously.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Picorni, who is in the audience this evening? Mr. Picorni, would you have anything you'd like to add? Yeah, it's wise.
Very good.
This is as quiet as I've ever seen you.
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 111-17, approving a final plat for Carver Square.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Welcome aboard, Mr. Picorni. Sir. Let us now move on to 9.3, the Hall Blade plat. Ms. Nash.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Hallblade Properties LLC has submitted an application for rezoning,
Thanks, Dave.
preliminary plat, and final plat. In your packet is a resolution approving a rezoning from agricultural to R1 for this development, and there is also a resolution approving both the preliminary and final plat together. The property is located on Mount Hope Road. It's a little bit south of the city cemetery and north of the Skyview addition to the city. And the property consists of a little over 3 acres currently, and there's an existing home and barn and some outbuildings on the property that are proposed to be retained as one of the lots. And then they're proposing to create 2 additional lots on the north side of the property, including one that currently has an outbuilding on it that would need to be removed as part of this application and per the notes in the plans. There was significant.
Wait, you said where's there an outbuilding that must be removed? In the northern part?
In the north part, and you
Okay.
can see there's a note pointing at it on the
Yep, I see it.
screen. So that's the building that would be removed as part of this.
It's like a garage or something,
It's a
isn't
garage.
it?
Yep.
Okay.
There was significant public comment at the Planning Commission meetings that this was at, and the plans originally had 4 lots total on the property instead of the 3 that is shown today, but the developer did remove a lot that was originally showing in the very southern part of the property to address some of the public comments that were received.
And wasn't most of the weren't the comments really geared towards drainage runoff?
They were.
Okay.
But then there were some additional comments, and they're in your packet, related to traffic on Mount Hope Road and the increased traffic that this would bring to that street.
He's planning a apartment complex or anything? Isn't this supposed to be like the Hallblade family compound?
Okay, I have a question. The biggest lot on the southern half, or more than half almost, it already has a home on it, correct?
Correct.
No, the southern? Big one. Yeah, the big lot. So a home won't be built on that lot?
No.
Okay.
So we're really just looking at 2 new homes.
Okay. Well, that had to have appeased the people who were worried about drainage then, right?
I think it helped a lot that there wasn't proposed to be any more changes in the southern part of it where everything was draining too. And the Planning Commission did review it at their February meeting and unanimously recommended approval.
Unanimously?
Unanimously.
You know I like to know that. I don't know why you always make me ask. Just adds to it. And I'm assuming that they saw the exact same proposal that we're looking at right now.
They did. There haven't been any changes since February.
Okay.
I would like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 111-17, approving a final plat for, oops, wrong one,
Wrong one.
sorry.
That's okay.
Number 112-17, approving a rezoning for the Hall Blade development.
Second. There's
a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Is there any further discussion? There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 113-17, approving a preliminary and final plat for the Hall Blade development.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. You guys kind of excited right now? This is our other discussion. You guys, all right. There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Welcome to the complex. You can't build a wall around it and with barbed wire on top, right? Welcome aboard. Let us now move on to 9.4. Ms. Nash, Trinity Comprehensive Plan Amendment.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As part of the applications that you will see over the next several months for the Trinity Development proposal, before you tonight is a comprehensive plan amendment to re-guide the property in our future land use map of our comprehensive plan from medium-density residential, which requires between a minimum of 4 units per acre and a maximum of 8 units per acre, to low-density residential, which requires between 2 and 4 units per acre. This will come in somewhere around 3 units per acre, depending on how many things we're able to net out for acreage by the time they're done with their plans. This was sent out for adjacent community and impacted agency review, and most agencies waived comment, no substantive comments were received, and so we are recommending that you allow us to forward this to the Metropolitan Council for their review at this time.
And just for the record, waiving comment assumes that there are no issues and that you accept.
Correct.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions regarding the Trinity Comprehensive Plan Amendment? Be glad to entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 110-17, amending the comprehensive plan for the Butler property.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Holy Hannah.
Communications?
We are outstanding. Monroe?
I don't think I have anything.
Johnson?
Last week, we had a planning commission meeting and a Carver Business Council. At the Carver Business Council, we went over the the street improvements, the 2017 street improvements, talked about the Village Hall process, and attendance continues to be pretty solid. I think there were more folks here on Friday morning than there were last month, so it's good to see that there's continued interest.
And this was
in
the
that.
second meeting? No. And then was there anything you wanted to add from the Planning Commission other than what we talked about tonight?
Nope.
Okay. You good?
Yep.
Mark?
I have nothing, thank you.
Hank?
Parks Commission had a meeting at the new meeting on
Carver
area-
Place, it's called
Carver
Carver
Place.
Place.
on Third Street, and we went over the tree sale, and then we had a nice conversation with Stan Tech regarding the comp, or the parks plan. So yeah, it was fun. It's a nice meeting area. That's all I got.
I just can't get over how young you look with your no hair on your face. Mr. Merrick?
A reminder that the listening session for Village Hall is a week from tonight at 7 p.m.
March 27th?
Correct. And then I wanted to update the council on the comprehensive plan process. Cindy Nash and I discussed that a little bit today, and I think we have some positive changes that'll make that process a little bit more dynamic. We're going to go through that with you at your next meeting, which is in April. But just kind of getting into some more detail about how the comprehensive plan works, different land use transitions, kind of explaining the process more. I think we maybe jumped in a little bit too much into the what changes are to be made at the last meeting, so we're going to take a step back and just kind of explain the process, explain some common terms, and then get some direction from the council and the planning commission on how to move forward with the process. So I just wanted to give you a little update on that.
Ron? Thank you.
Make motion to adjourn?
I'm not done.
Second.
Do you need to say something?
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Oh,
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you all. No, I can't remember what it was. No, as soon as he said it, I had something right there. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Everybody have a great week.